We are back for the 25-26 season, number one FPL draft strategy for you. Watch this video and you will know exactly what your game plan will be going in draft day. So early rounds 1 to 3. That for a 10-man league is the top 30 players, which is what I'm basing this off. We had 9 forwards, 17 midfielders, 2 defenders, highest scoring one Guardiola in 19th, and 2 goalkeepers, 16th being the highest scoring one of Jordan Pickford. So, early rounds, what do we want? We want 2 forwards minimum and 1 midfielder is what I say is a good mix. As you can see here, we've got the top 8 players from last season. In the top 10, we had 6 forwards, 4 midfielders. So if you're feeling a bit nervous in the first round, maybe it's your first time and you're not too familiar, go for one of these premium forwards. We're talking Isak, we're talking Watkins, Haaland, Ekitike that's gone to Liverpool. If you think Gyökeres is going to do well at Arsenal, get one of these players in and more than likely they're going to be in this sort of top 10 range and it is a good pick early doors. Then following in with another forward, I think is always a good idea, and then another midfielder. Round 1, it should be said, I think you should just go for the best player on the board and then fill it in. Otherwise, if that does turn out, you've got first pick overall and you want to go for Salah, go Salah and then pick up the 2 forwards later on. Now, the next thing to look at is obviously forwards. So like I said, 2 early on. How do I break this down? You have 3 forwards in total, 1 premium. That's your first/second round pick. 1 lesser starter. So if you look here at the top forwards from last season, we've got Wood, Bowen, Wissa, Mateta and Raul Jimenez. Now these players are starters week in, week out for teams that aren't, the big 6, the classic teams. But because they're starting and if that team does well, they're the ones putting the ball in the net. Take Forest for last season, they did very well. Why is that? Chris Wood was very good at that. Same with Crystal Palace, they had a great second half of the season. Mateta was the guy putting it in. Fulham had a good season. Raul Jimenez, he's the forward. And then I've got 1 wild card there. Now, this could be a backup to one of these top strikers, let's say Haaland, and you want to get a backup striker for him in, then yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And if Haaland goes down, well, you've got the replacement and you're laughing. But another one that I quite like is maybe a player that isn't going to start straight off, but is a player that could maybe grow into the role, maybe get there in the end. Say, last season we had Muniz and Raul. Muniz was not the starter, well, did start and then dropped out. But he was a great pickup to have for the season. And he's a wild card. You've got him there. If he's hitting a bit of form, then you can put him in. The next one, we've got midfielders. So obviously, like I said, we've got that number 1 premium midfielder in that first 3 rounds. Then 2 lesser teams. Now, what I mean by this lesser teams is, again, like the forwards, here we have Mbeumo, Cunha, Semenyo, Rodgers, Murphy. I mean, they're not part of the big 6. I mean, obviously Mbeumo and Cunha have now moved to Manchester United, but that was Brentford and Wolves last season, and we've got Bournemouth in there. We had also, who else did we have? We had Morgan Gibbs-White of Forest, like I mentioned, had a great season. Iwobi of Fulham had a great season. Just closely behind them, we had Matoma, Sharda, Eze, and Shatsar of Palace. So if you've got these teams that you think are going to do well next season, I would look to get in their sort of main man, their main midfield maestro. That's going to be there pulling the strings, chipping in with goals, and they're always a good player to get in. Getting 2 of them in, and then a premium team. So the one for this that sort of jumps out for me always when I think of this player is Bernardo Silva. So obviously in seasons past is KDB, Kevin De Bruyne was the main guy at City. But Bernardo Silva was always there, always doing well. He'd show up week in, week out. I think because City was scoring a lot of goals, it means he's going to naturally get an assist here and there. He's going to chip in with a goal here and there. So I think it's a very good idea to just get someone like that in. And then last but not least, a little wild card for you on draft day. Midfielders change so much throughout the season. Players get injured. Players hit form. You're going this 5th place pick in midfield. It's very surprising if he's going to be there for you all the season. So why not go for a little Hail Mary, a wild card pick of someone that you fancy is going to have a really good season. Maybe you've got the inside scoop of you watched a preseason game or you heard someone say something in the pub of such and such is starting for Leeds and he's been doing really well and you think he's going to have a top season. Get him in. If not, you're just going to get him out in a couple of weeks for someone that you do now that the season started and you've had eyes on, you can get in. The next players, defenders. So there's a couple ways we can go about this. Like I said, Guardiola, top scoring defender, 19th. So we're leaving them till later. I'd probably say, maybe go for 2 forwards, 2-3 midfielders, and then go in for defenders. Now, the way I'd look to do this is there's one tactic which is risky, but also very rewarding, which is load one team. So if you think, let's say, Arsenal are going to do really well defensively next season, you may look to get in Saliba, Gabriel, and one of the fullbacks as well. And you've got 2, maybe 3 players from one of these top teams that you think is going to have the best season. And if they're going to have a clean sheet, I mean, you've got, 2-3 clean sheets from that team straight there, and you're laughing. Another tactic, though, is the wheel and deal tactic. So you could leave defenders right to the very end, fill up on your 3 forwards, your midfielders, whatever. And then you're more looking to wheel and deal. So this is week by week looking at pickups. So who's got the good matchups? Who's got, maybe a team is doing really well at that point in time in the season and a team's doing really badly. They're coming up against each other, the good teams at home, bad teams away. Then you can look to get in those players in defence. And even in these top teams as well, you do seem to find that they're sort of 4th choice, 5th choice, depending what system they play. Defender is normally free and available on the bench as well, apart from the very, very top teams. But the ones underneath, you're looking at Aston Villa, let's say. Villa's at home against one of the teams in relegation. You can be quite happy getting in their 4th choice player in defence and getting a clean sheet. Looking at these new rules that have come in, obviously they favour a lot on defenders and centre-backs in particular. So there's someone, I think it was James Tarkowski, would have got loads more points. So that is something to take into account, because normally we just hammer the old fullbacks as they get the attacking returns more. As you can see, Munoz there, Kirkes, Cucurella, all wing-back, well, not wing-backs, but fullbacks. Well, with this new rule, centre-backs really get a lot more points. And then also lesser teams that do well. You've got the players here, for example, Munoz Kirkes was at Bournemouth last season. You've got 2 of the Forest boys from last season. If you think a team's going to do really well next season, maybe a team that's not in Europe and you think is going to do really well with the lack of games. There's still a lot of games, but less games, let's say, and they can focus on the Premier League. Compared to these other teams, you can get a little deal in there and get these players in. Finally, goalkeepers. Rule of thumb, do not go near a goalkeeper till earliest round 6, I say. I mean, looking at this, Pickford obviously got 158 points, but there was 47 points between the 1st and 10th best goalkeepers last season. It's not all about clean sheets as well. Pickford, Sells at the top. Sells obviously had a great season, but Pickford there, not top on clean sheets. Henderson as well. Robert Sanchez, Onana. Onana, everybody said had a terrible season. I mean, if you got him in, you got the 6th best goalkeeper last season, okay? You're talking Leno there beating Alisson, who, he was out injured for a bit, but you can pick these players up later, and obviously don't get your backup goalkeeper till the final round, unless you really do see 2 goalkeepers that you want to dovetail, and maybe you go in at sort of round 8 and round 9, let's say. And you're going to go in and dovetail these 2 goalkeepers nicely, and you've seen fixtures that line up for you quite well. But I wouldn't worry about them too much, goalkeepers. One thing that is nice is if you do get one of these premium goalkeepers, I would suggest the one to go for is Raya, probably, of just, he's going to be starting at Arsenal, and Arsenal probably are going to do well defensively. I'd get him in, and then you can really wait till the last round if you wanted to go in round 6 or round 7 and he's there, and you think, okay, if I just get Raya now, you don't have to think about a goalkeeper till, default pick whoever's left, because if you've got a 10-man league, technically every single starting goalkeeper should be taken. So you can just leave it till then. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Implement this draft strategy. I guarantee you will be in contention for your league. Winning the league, I do put it down to, it's going to be a lot to do with who you pick up, and that is why I have the top 5 picks every single week for you to make sure that you are winning your game weeks, and if you put them all together, you win your season. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe for these top 5 picks coming forward, and comment any players that you think will be doing well this season.